Again, baseball gutless, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Gutless.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, they did what they felt like was right, considering the. If you put it in the words that they talked about, it was kind of what we assumed was going to happen yesterday. Not necessarily saying that Josh Donaldson said something racist, as Tony La Russa, Tony La Russa intimated, but this is the quote from Michael Hill, the executive vice president of on-field operations. His quote, "In addition, Mr. Donaldson's remark was a contributing factor in a bench-clearing incident between the teams and warrants discipline." So it's not in the realm of saying Josh Donaldson said something racist and therefore he's going to get suspended. It's he antagonized and offended Tim Anderson to the point that it caused or contributed to a bench clearing incident, and that warrants a suspension. So they're parsing words.
Well, they're hiding is what they're doing.
Well, they're hiding. Well, they're parsing
obscuring
words to make it not about what they actually are making it about.
Well, that's why they're hiding.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
It's gutless. Just stand up and say it.
Well, but they can't.
Why not?
Because it was what I don't think what Josh Donaldson said, and I think most people will agree, he wasn't intending it to be racist. Now,
I agree with that.
If Tim Anderson heard it that way, then that's one thing. I don't think that was the intent, and you can't discipline lack of intent. So
I agree with that.
So they have to find another reason.
Or they could have done nothing. Which is what they should have done.
Which is what we believe they should have done.
Yep.
But that's just not the route the MLB decides to go, because they need to be politically correct.
And that's what drives me nuts. There we go. It took about 53 seconds to get to it. But that's the money line right there, Teague. They need to be politically correct. Really, the accelerator in terms of the erosion of society. Let's all be politically correct.
Yeah, I mean, there are many ways that you can look at this, from the Tim Anderson standpoint, from the Tony La Russa standpoint, from Josh Donaldson standpoint. Aaron Judge even weighed in on this a little bit. And what Aaron Judge said was sensible. He wasn't necessarily condemning Josh Donaldson, but he was saying that given the heightened emotion of I don't want to call this a rivalry, but I guess it is in a sense, because they played so many times in the first month of the season. But the rivalry, the physicality that's going on, Josh Donaldson should have handled it differently. That was basically Aaron Judge's standpoint. He wasn't saying it was racist, but he was saying that given the sensitivity of the emotion in this series, he probably should have handled it a different way. And that's kind of what Aaron Boone echoed here. But at the end of the day, Major League Baseball made a decision that, hopefully squashes it. Josh Donaldson's going to appeal this. But I think the bigger issue, as we think about this, is the subtext, not what actually happened, but the subtext of this. Tim Anderson talking about the lack of minorities, or not necessarily minorities, because there are a lot of minorities. 38% of Major League Baseball is colored in some capacity, but the lack of black baseball players in Major League Baseball, that's what Tim Anderson wants to change.
Which is a great thing.
Which is a great change. I don't know how he's actually going about doing that, other than being really good himself and being an example.
And making the sport cool, making it appealing to everybody.
Right, but the numbers have continued to go down. And I asked BT this question when I first came in today, because I've been reading about this for the last couple of hours this morning. This decreasing number of black baseball players is now down to 7.2%. And when you read the statistics, and 56 of the last 300 or so first round draft picks have been black. That's 17.5%, but not a lot of them are making it to Major League Baseball. And it's being described as, dire. Like it's got to change. Black athletes have to start playing baseball. And I asked BT this question: why do black athletes have to start playing baseball? What if they choose to do something else? And I think that's it's an interesting dynamic that's happening in baseball as it pertains to black athlete, not the minority, because there are a lot of minorities, but the black athlete.
I got you.
In baseball. Just it's not resonating. It's not growing to the level, and it's being positioned as a bad thing. But I wonder why it's a bad thing.
I mean, I've always said as long as kids are doing something productive,
That's
it doesn't
right.
really matter what
Right.
they're doing,
They-
as long as they're on a field or a court or doing something
That's right.
that coincides
They
with
could
school.
be playing soccer. They
Yep.
could be playing football. They
playing
could be playing
chess.
basketball. They could be playing chess.
That's what you would have been doing if you didn't make the
exactly,
NFL.
right? They could be following different pursuits that have nothing to do with sports.
That's right.
And so I get where the urgency is, and I understand what Tim Anderson's mission is by being the new Jackie Robinson. His words, not mine. I understand that, but I don't know why it's such a huge issue at the same time. You know what I mean? So
I know exactly what you mean. It's obviously separate from the issue that we're talking about with Donaldson. It's a layer of it, I guess, on an extension of the conversation.
But I think you have to go there to understand why Major League Baseball made the decision that they did.
Well, they still made the wrong decision. We can go there. We will go there. We'll go there with you. 877-337-6666. They still made the wrong decision. Here's the bottom line, all right? And I want everybody to just think about this. So they're telling us that because of his role in the benches emptying, where not a single punch was thrown, by the way, they're suspending him. Okay, if that's their logic, fine. But baseball, you better look in the mirror and start being consistent. Stubby Clapp, did he get suspended?
That's a good
when
point.
he grabbed Pete Alonso from behind?
Yeah.
And Buck Showalter was beside himself, mystified why Stubby Clapp was not suspended. He should have been suspended. You're opening a dangerous door. And let me give you a situation. I'll take Alonso, all right? Let's say Alonso gets drilled tonight. They don't like the homer. By the way, Mets, that's a great win. They crushed them. And we'll get to that later. And I know I'm jumping around. We're not beating you over the head 4 hours of this. We promise.
Yeah, we did that yesterday.
We're not. Yesterday was the day to do it. Today we got the verdict, so to speak. We'll react to it, and then we'll get to the other stuff. Rangers, obviously, Mets, Yankees not looking good. Cole knocked around a little bit. But this is the story, at least out of the chute. But let's say Alonso gets hit tonight, all right? And Alonso says something, as he has the right to do, whether it's, expletive laced or not racial. I don't mean that. But a couple of F-bombs, whatever it is. But it's deemed insensitive. It's deemed antagonistic.
Well, offensive to someone.
Offensive, whatever. And both benches empty because you have to make it seem like you really want to fight when you don't, which
by
is
the
not
way,
bad.
that's what the Tim Anderson bench clearer.
Exactly.
It was tepid.
Exactly. And we have seen that situation countless times throughout Major League Baseball. Guy gets hit, takes a few steps to doesn't charge, takes a few steps to the mound, says whatever he says, bullpen's empty, bench is empty, not a single punch is thrown, nobody gets suspended. If I'm Josh Donaldson, I said this to Tiki yesterday, and I mean this, because when your character is compromised, either from a racist point of view, a child molestation point of view, a domestic abuse point of view, those are things you never get back. If I'm Josh Donaldson, I'm suing baseball. And I know that sounds outlandish, but you know what? What they did to him is outlandish. Weak, gutless, predictable. That's baseball for you.
They hid behind, though.
They have no balls, baseball. Zero.
They hid behind the bench clearing incident.
They hid behind race, and they tried to placate people.
No.
No, that's exactly what they did.
They hid behind the bench clearing incident implicating race.
No, well, yes, but also
because they're not saying Josh Donaldson made a racist comment. They're not saying that.
No, I understand.
Even though Tony La Russa intimated that.
Tony
exactly.
La Russa.
But they're not saying Josh Donaldson is suspended because he said something racist to Tim Anderson. They're saying he's suspended. But this is also
but we
the
know
problem.
what it's all rooted from. So maybe that would be a frivolous lawsuit. Maybe he gets thrown out. But Josh Donaldson needs to do something that rather than just appeal. Like, to me, if it was me, the prudent thing is first you appeal. That's business. But then you got to go back to get your name back.
No, I don't disagree with that.
And he's not going to win the lawsuit, but it shows your moral compass. It shows your inner fortitude. If you don't stand up for yourself, who will?
I agree with you, BT.
Who will?
But what can he do?
He can sue baseball.
Suing baseball getting litigious is not the way to handle this, because this is a court of public opinion thing. This is a perceptual thing.
And if he wins
Josh
the
Donaldson.
lawsuit, then perception changes.
It's not going to ever get to a lawsuit.
Or if he loses the lawsuit, people say, "Man, this guy's really going the extra mile to prove he's not racist."
If I was Josh Donaldson, I would demand Major League Baseball comment on this as opposed to just releasing a statement. Tell me why I'm suspended in plain words. And if it's because
you mean to his face or publicly, Teak?
Publicly.
Okay, go ahead.
If this is because something I said, which I felt was in jest, obviously was misinterpreted by Tim Anderson and everybody else on the White Sox team. If that's the reason why, and it caused a benches clearing incident, not a brawl, not a punch was thrown, then we need to go back and suspend 40 other people who caused the exact same incident.
Started with Stubby Clapp, who actually put his arms around Pete Alonso,
right. Now,
threw him to the ground.
Now, Major League Baseball can't answer it that way.
Well, they can't.
Then they're forced to address the racial issue head on and have that conversation, which is what we said that was the opportunity Major League Baseball had that they were going to miss because they were going to do this stupid thing and suspend Josh Donaldson and give some innocuous reason why.
Yeah, it's such a joke. It's so utterly predictable, though. It really. And by the way, I think every sport would have done this because they would have been terrified of the backlash. And listen, there's backlash that is warranted and with merit. And if you truly exhibit racist tendencies or overtly, use racist terms, I mean, you gotta face the music, man. You have to, and that's just the way it's going to be, and that's the way it should be. But when it's nebulous, when the intention is not able to be fully uncovered, and to most of us who are sensible and not arsonists, seemingly innocuous what he said, how you suspend this guy is a joke. It is an absolute disgrace what baseball did to Josh Donaldson. And if you think I'm overreacting, that's fine. That's fine. But I think most people are on our side because most people were on our side yesterday as we anticipated this gutless reaction from baseball. 877-337-6666. All right, Tiki, you want to get some calls? All right. Paul's in Newton, Connecticut. Paul, you're on the fan. What's happening, buddy? How are you today?
Hey, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I just wanted to kind of get in on your conversation here in reference to the low, I guess, minority ratio in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids today, they're looking for instant gratification. And baseball, trying to get into Major League Baseball doesn't do it. You got to go to college, and if you're good enough and you don't go to college, you'll get picked up. You go to the minors. You've got to spend years in the minors unless you're a LeBron James-type baseball player. You're not going to make any money. And these kids today, they want to be able to go, bang, high school, and if out of high school into the pros and making millions of dollars, and then into college where you can now make millions of dollars before you even get to the pros. They don't. Those kids they're doing. My kids played baseball when they were young, and they left the game because it was so doggone boring for them to sit out in 95 degrees.
Yeah.
4 hours when we watched a baseball game, and then let's go. So they switched to lacrosse. You know, and they actually ended up going to college on those on that ability to play lacrosse and hockey. They just got away from baseball. I can understand why the ratios are very low.
But the only thing that I would say, Paul, listen, you make a lot of good points there. We've seen it, we've seen it come to fruition. The numbers and lacrosse has been booming for a couple decades now. We all know the trends, but when you talk about instant and I know this wasn't your attention, I just want to be clear. You talk about instant gratification. I don't think it's a minority thing. I think all kids that are born after the year, 2005, whatever year you want to actually earmark there as a line of delineation, technology, et cetera, sped up society. I think all kids of all colors and ethnicities are chasing instant gratification.
Yeah, you're right.
Every kid.
But if a smaller percentage are playing baseball, then it compounds the issue for those making it to Major League Baseball, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So,
it does. It does.
It just, as over time, it compounds even more so because there's not a lot of, black kids playing baseball. I mean, they're trying, obviously.
Yeah.
With these programs that they have. Major League Baseball has instituted. A lot of local teams do it locally as well.
RBI's done a nice job for a long time.
100%.
Refurbishing fields, et cetera.
Right.
It's hard. It's a tough.
It's a tough hustle, man.
It's a tough sell, baseball.
It really is.
If you love baseball, you love it with every fiber of your being. And if you don't, you're probably just really lukewarm. There's not much middle ground with baseball.
That's right.
I think that's part of it, too. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the fan. So we had to come out with a little fire today. Listen, you want to have some fun. You want to just, I don't really think yelling at 10:15 in the morning, but, I was waiting. I couldn't wait to start this show. Just a joke. All right, we're inside the Town Fair Tire Studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that at Town Fair, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. How about Ed, who's in Elizabeth on the fan? What's up, Eddie?
Hey, Brandon, how you doing? Hey, Tiki, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, Bob.
Here's what I want to mention to you, and I want to see what you say. When Josh Donaldson started calling him Jackie in 2019, how come Tim Anderson never said, hey, Josh, how about you don't say that to me anymore? I'm sure all this stuff would have happened.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, I know. Absolutely.
Yeah, on that. And, what baseball did was totally wrong. I think, and Tiki, when I make this statement, I'm not saying it as a racial thing because I have many good black friends through coaching and all that stuff.
Yep.
I think MLB made a statement because of all the racial tension that's going on in the United States that they didn't want to have an issue with this.
Yes. I think that's a part of it.
Well, they want it to go away. That's the problem.
I understand that, yes. I want it to go away, too. But my point is, too.
But not at somebody's reputation, not at the expense of somebody's reputation.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
that's my problem.
The question is, do we think this sticks with Josh Donaldson? And if it does, for how long? How
Don't
long
know.
does it stick for Josh Donaldson?
I don't know.
Well, we'll listen to Aaron Judge's statement last night on the post game.
Yeah.
In a way, he didn't go defend him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he also didn't chastise him either, right? He didn't throw him under the bus.
I agree with you on that, Tiki. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do.
But,
So here's the issue with this, and we'll get a break and we'll come back and we'll keep talking about this, BT. But the issue with this is that when you listen to what Tim Anderson said in that 2019 article, he was talking about being the next Jackie Robinson because of the declining black player, not minority, black player in Major League Baseball. And so Josh Donaldson then responds, not regarding the context of Tim Anderson's mission, his idea, but more just, oh, you're going to compare yourself to Jackie Robinson? All right, Jackie, right, type of thing. So he's joking, but not taking into account the context of what Tim Anderson is talking about. And so in that regard, I could understand why Tim Anderson would be upset about it. But Tim Anderson and his White Sox and whoever, was privy to this, let's call it joke, put that in quotes, should have commented at that point, should have corrected the behavior at that point instead of letting it get to what it's become in 2022. And so now, after 3 years of simmering, it becomes racial, even though it wasn't intended to be in 2019, right? Because when you look at the backstory, the Tim Anderson backstory, what he was contextualizing and trying to correct and change, back to my first point about why there aren't a lot of minorities, or at least blacks in baseball, Tim Anderson wants to help change that. So by clowning him or joking at him, by calling him Jackie, which he referred to himself as, you're actually undermining what his true intent was. So in that regard, I understand it. But I don't think Josh Donaldson was smart enough to think of it that way.
I hear you.
I think he was just saying, oh, you want to compare yourself to Jackie Robinson? All right, Jackie, I'll call you Jackie, right?
Yeah.
And so it makes my head hurt to try to think about people thinking about this in real time. You just can't. Right? Because it's not what the intent was. The intent was, you call yourself Jackie? All right, I want to call you Jackie.
I got you. Or Willie, or, Hank, or, whomever. I hear you. Listen, this is why I said yesterday, you can be tone deaf without being racist. If I think Josh Donaldson's guilty of anything, he's guilty of being tone deaf and maybe a little immature. But, the other thing, too, he's had such a transient career, and he's been on so many different teams that I think the one thing that hurts Donaldson now, nobody can expect Aaron Judge to go deep on the ledge for him without truly knowing his character.
Yeah.
And you don't learn about somebody's character in 5 months.
Yeah.
You just don't. 877-33. So I thought Judge's comments were fine. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. We're not doing this all day. We promise. Mets rocking out west. Rangers tonight. Yankees got a little bump here. We'll get to all that coming up over the next couple of hours here on the Fan.